Hey, my name is Josh. This channel usually knows me as Omni, but I'm gonna go as my real name for the moment. And I'm gonna talk about the time that I was... basically the time right after high school, right after graduation, where I was enlisted in the Marines for a little bit. So, right out of high school, I didn't have any idea of what I was going to do besides, go to college. And even then, I had not taken my SATs because I thought I was just going to go to the local community college since it didn't require it. And I'm a fine tester, but I really didn't want to do the SATs because it's a really long test and I have a super hard time sitting down and just working on a test. But the thing that worried me was the fact that college costs a lot of money. And I thought, hey, what can I do to get that kind of money since I know my parents won't be able to pay for it? And I decided, hey, maybe the military is a good idea. Because, in high school you have a bunch of friends graduating with you, and a lot of them are going to end up going to the military. And a lot of them were. A friend of mine, he basically convinced me that, yeah, you should, go to the military, finish your stuff up, be on reserves, and then just go to college and get all your shit together and then get a really good paying job after a while. So I decided, hey, that might be a good idea. So I went to a recruiter. I was originally going to enlist with the Air Force, but I first went to the Marines recruiting office for some reason. I don't remember why, but I went there, and the recruiter there basically convinced me that, oh no, you should do the Marines, bro. The Marines, you're obsessed with all this fighting stuff and training and stuff like that, and I really was. I love martial arts. But he had a silver tongue. He convinced me to go in, and I was enlisted with the Marines. And on top of that, I was still going to the community college, and recently I had also gotten my first job. So this was in July of 2016. After a few months, when I was doing work and military and school at the same time, I think September is about where I really noticed this is all starting to pile together. It was starting to become a lot of work to do all three things at once. Excuse me. But yeah, I was starting to notice that it was really starting to take a toll on me. And by the end of September, I was getting, really, really bogged down about it. I talked to my girlfriend at the time about it, and she was worried too. But it had only really begun to start getting bad, because by October, I was getting so stressed out that at some point I actually got really sick from it, and I had to go to the hospital. I went to the hospital from work specifically. I felt like I was going to pass out, and I had to be transported from work on an ambulance to the hospital. And I think that was the point when I realized, yeah, I probably should get rid of one of these things at least. So I started weighing my options. I knew that I really, really did not want to be in the military, especially the Marines, because I knew that they were, just foot soldiers. No offense to any Marines out there, but I knew that they were foot soldiers. They were just expendable, and I didn't want to be a part of that. Even when I was enlisted, I wanted to do the least amount of military-esque work. I didn't want to be on the field at all, but I knew that was probably going to be an impossibility. I don't remember the job I picked though. I think it had to do with like landscaping, basically. No, not landscaping. It had to do with like leveling planes in order to like figure out how level the ground is to build a building or some shit like that. I don't remember. It's 2020. This was 4 years ago. But anyway, actually, no, it's not 2020. It's 2021. Shit, I fucked up. Okay, I'm getting distracted. So, I really didn't want to be a Marine. And I decided that I should cut that. But as I continued going to school, some days were fine, but other days I got really sick and I had to like leave in the middle of the day. And by late October, I had just stopped going altogether. And around that same point, maybe early November-ish, I also went to the recruiters and I told them I wanted to pull out. Now, of course, there's like the whole guaranteed contract thing where, you know, they say, I don't remember specifically what it was, but it's basically telling you that you can't pull out once you're signed up, once you're enlisted. You know, you have to go to basic training, but that's bullshit. You can pull out as soon or as late as you want until you are at basic training or until you're like on the transportation to basic training. Like basically you could be like right in front of the fucking bus or plane or whatever, and you could just decide to turn around and say, hey, yeah, no, I'm fucking off. But I went to the recruiter's office and I was literally almost in tears trying to tell this dude that I didn't want to do it. I felt like a huge disappointment to myself and to him, and he was really trying to convince me to stay. And I stood my ground and I told him, no, I can't do this, I'm leaving. So after the initial in-person talk with the recruiter there, I had my actual recruiter, the person who enlisted me, call me on the phone to do the same thing again. And I was sick of it at that point. I didn't want to do shit. I was literally sitting in bed or laying down in bed, and I'm just like, bro, I don't want to go. 100%, I do not. And he's like trying everything to keep me in. But I did not go. And this is November at this point. So let's see, December, January, February, March, April, May. May is an important month because that is when I quit my job. I quit my job thinking that I had another job lined up when I did not. I was in the talks for another job. It was not confirmed. And I did not know that was a really important thing. Yes, you want to make sure you have the job before you quit your current job. It was my first job, so I didn't really know that well. But yeah, turns out I went basically the rest of 2017 and basically most of 2018 without a job. I was not working, I was not in school, and I was not in any training of any sort. I was a NEET. And it fucking killed me. I was so depressed. I was more depressed than I had ever been in my entire life, and I have clinical depression. I cannot tell you the amount of times I wanted to kill myself within that 1 year stretch, over 1 year stretch. And at some point, I did almost do it. I was literally, like, bawling my eyes out, just standing naked on my bed with, like, a hunting knife to my throat, and I was convinced that it was the end. I wanted to be gone. And it sucked. Looking back at it really sucks. That I had to be in that situation. I really wish it didn't get that bad. But, you know, 'tis life. Luckily, I think towards the end of 2017, towards the end of 2017, I had decided that I was going to go back to school. And I did. I went back to school in the fall of 2017. I had an amazing semester. I had so many good grades. I went the entire semester with getting only good grades, and I was really proud of myself for that. But it did not last long. So spring of 2018 was a really bad semester, and it was literally only because of one class. Just one fucking class. I had a psych class. It was adolescent psych, and it was the worst class I've ever taken. And this was my third semester, technically. I mean, it was, you know, I dropped out the first semester, I did the second semester, and this is my third semester. And there was not a worse class than this class, because in that class, we just talked about basically nothing. Like, it was a stupid class, because we only talked about the professor's personal experiences and then whatever the hell else we wanted to talk about in the class. It almost did not relate to psychology, because it felt like, you know, we didn't talk about the book whatsoever. We didn't talk about really psych at all. It didn't feel like a class. It just felt like some kind of weird support group of some sort, or like just a group of whiny people talking to a therapist, in a way. And I could not pull out the class because of my first semester. You see, my first semester, I didn't drop out. I just failed all my classes. I just stopped going. So that really affected the rest of my college career, because that meant if I did not keep up with my classes this semester or the ongoing semesters, I would not get financial aid. I had already made an appeal to whoever the fuck you make an appeal to. I don't remember. But I already made the appeal, and they accepted my appeal, thankfully. But, you know, the appeal said if I don't keep my shit up, I'm going to get my financial aid taken away. And I was in a situation where I was like, I can't stay in this class. I'm gonna fucking fail. And actually, now that I think about it, I did have a statistics class that I was in that I had to drop, which did not help. Excuse me. I had to drop that class because I was going to fail that one too. I did not have the knowledge required to continue going to that class, because every warm-up felt like it felt like an alien language to me. And I'm not even bad at math. I was pretty good at math, but I kind of got fucked in high school because I was putting remedial algebra classes. I was in algebra 1A and 1B. And it was really stupid considering I was really good at math, but because of middle school and the fact that I was such a lazy, stupid little brat, I had to go to remedial classes because I failed my my ending middle school class, my 8th grade middle school class. Math class, there we go. All over the place right now. But because of that, I only had Algebra 1A, which I failed the first Algebra 1A because I was still in that mindset. And only in summer school, when I failed Bio 1 as well, but luckily I failed that with an F+, so I got to go to summer school for that. Math, I just completely fucking failed out. In middle school was when I realized I need to pull my shit together because I was not getting another chance and I was ruining everything already. So I had to take Algebra 1A again after passing Bio in summer school with flying colors. Literally aced out of that one. But, you know, sophomore year, I had to do Algebra 1A again. Funny enough, sophomore year, I also failed English. I did not successfully pull my shit together. Oh my god, I'm a terrible student. But yeah, I did not pull my shit together correctly. And I failed English 2. It wasn't entirely my fault. I mean, the teacher was kind of a bitch. She was, you know, borderline hardcore feminist. She had like the Karen haircut and everything, but she was super young. And it was not a good class. Like there was a girl in my class that had a paper peer reviewed by another college professor, and she still had her paper only graded as a C by this sophomore year English teacher. That is how fucking bad that teacher was and that class was. Well, I can't say she was really a bad teacher. She was just a hard ass. But anyway, back to where I was going. So yeah, I only had 3 years of high school math technically, which was remedial, Algebra 1A, 1B, and then Algebra 2 my senior year. And my senior year was really stupid because I had to double up on algebra. I mean, not algebra. I had to double up on English 2 and 3 because I had to take, no, not English 2 and 3, English 3 and 4, because I had to take algebra, not algebra. Why do I keep saying algebra? I had to take English 3 and 4 my senior year. I had to double up because I had to retake English 2 my junior year, which was technically my second sophomore year. That's what it said on my school ID. That sucked. I was a junior who was still a sophomore. Anyhow, I did not have the necessary knowledge to continue with statistics in college. So I dropped that class. That's already a mark against me. And I could not pull out of this psych class because then I would not have the necessary credits in order to continue to get my financial aid. I should have pulled out the first week, but I did not know it would get that bad. That was not entirely my fault, but I will recognize that it was partially my fault. At least. It was mostly my fault, but some of the fault goes to the class itself and definitely the professor. Worst professor I have ever had. It wasn't even that she was a bitch, it was just she did not teach. It was not a class, it was just a discussion group. So, well, fun fact, on top of all that, I was also in a play. I don't know why that was a smart idea. I decided to do a play while I was on the verge of failing 2 classes. Well, actually, no, I was on the verge of failing 1 class after pulling out of another class. But that was fun. That was the most fun I had throughout that year, actually. And I met one of my really close current friends that introduced me to Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, I know, some real geeky shit, but I really love that shit. And he's so fucking nice that he actually like buys me decks. Like, this dude goes out of his way to buy me whole ass Magic decks, and I love them to death, and he's a great fucking friend. But long story short, even though we're 20 minutes into this, or at least into the recording, after the editing, I don't know how much it's gonna be, probably around like 18 minutes or some shit. Anyway, long story short, I am not in college right now. After that spring class in 2018, I did not have the necessary credits because I had failed that psychology class, and I knew I could not get financial aid. I tried in the fall of 2019 to go back to school again, after basically dropping out twice. And they had told me that I was not able to get loans. Now, that is some tricky fucking language, because I should be able to get a loan if I wanted to. I should be able to pull out loans. I think what they were trying to tell me is I could not get a federal loan. I could not get financial aid. That was cut. But they basically had me believing that I could not get loans at all for a while. And I just, after that, I did not want to go back to school at all. I mean, here I am in 2021 thinking, oh, well, maybe I can go back for like computer science or something instead of doing music. But I'm so apprehensive about going back. I don't want to, unless I absolutely have to. If I could do anything else, if I could do some kind of training or something, I would do that. I just don't want to go back to college, even though college was fun. It was a fun experience. I loved being around people. I loved doing activities, but the college side of it was bullshit. Like, all of the shit that I had to deal with the administration and stuff like that, I hated it. I hated all of it. The classes were not that bad, but some of them got really bad. And I don't want to deal with that again. But here I am in 2021. COVID is a thing. It's in my house at the moment. And So I'm unemployed at the moment. I have been unemployed since October. I did have a job from late July. I had a job late July up until late September, or I guess early October. And since then, I have not been able to get employed. I've been looking through Indeed like a fucking madman. So here I am, telling my story to the internet for some fucking reason. I'm probably boring the hell out of you, but I just decided, hey, why not record this instead of writing it in a YouTube comment on a video about a veteran telling his military story. Because that's what brought this about. I was writing a really long comment about this exact thing. My quote-unquote military experience. But here it is recorded. 25 minutes worthy of it. I might not even edit this now that I think about it. I think I just want to keep this as candid and as true to myself as possible. I think I'll keep all the pauses in because it shows that, I'm thinking. And I want this to be as genuine as possible. And I'm sorry if that bores you if you find this video. I doubt you'll find this video. But yeah, that is my military experience. my so-called military experience and how it has affected the current rest of my life. Thanks for listening if you find this. This is Josh, signing off.